Hello, everyone, and welcome to the State of the Republic podcast. My name is Luis, and today I'm joined by my two usual co hosts, Michael and Sharon. Let's go to you first, Sharon. How are you doing? I feel like it's been a while since we've talked.
Yeah, and I'm doing great. Thanks for asking, Louise. Everything is good. It has been a while. Looking forward to interviewing our guest tonight. It's just so exciting right now. Soccer is there's just so much good tension in the air, and I'm looking forward to tonight. How are you?
I'm doing good, thanks. Actually, super excited. I know it's already been probably like a week, but it just hasn't been in a recording of a podcast yet. But my BJP jersey back there is promised. He delivered. He signed it. For those of you who saw it on Twitter, all detailed. It says to Luis from Podcast Magic. Awesome signature there. He used it his first season away jersey, as you guys could see there. Really awesome. So again, thank you, Bijev. That was an amazing detail, and that thing is gonna definitely be framed one day. For now, it's there hanging, and I think I'm gonna wear it to a game. But then after that, it's gonna wash it, put it in a frame, and just leave it there. But yeah, again, it was a really awesome detail by him. And I actually also framed the newspaper that was actually handed out at the block party when we were announced in MLS2 over there too. So I made sure I got two copies of that. One is all wrinkled up because, of course, you're trying to read through it and all that. And I kept one that was in decent condition. And so can't wait till I get to get the newspaper for when we have our first game and then the post game newspaper. So I'll definitely be on the lookout for those. So looking really cool back there and really going to add more stuff. There's a scarf that'll be added there. So that wall's going to keep on be Republic themed and whatnot. But next, let's go with you, Michael. How's it going, Mike?
Doing good. Staying really busy. It was nice today. I got out of work and realized the sun was still out. So we're getting closer to the spring and the summer, which I'm a sucker for. Man, you are living a crazy, dangerous life if you're going to wear that signed jersey to a game. I would get nacho cheese on it. I'd get garlic fries on it. I'd probably fill a beer or two on it. Yeah. Good luck to you, my friend.
That's true. I'll have to. I don't know. I guess I'll have to just not sit in our usual TVB area, right? To be on the safer side, and I'll have to eat before, which I usually do before games, but I'll have to definitely make sure that I eat before. Um, but yeah, all right. Well, with that being said, also wanted to remind you all actually to follow us on social media. Again, you can find us on Facebook, Instagram, Twitter at State Republic 12. If you're not following us yet, please give us that follow. We have the Jeopardy Live that are going to be planning here later on this month, and we also have other live shows that we're going to be potentially also planning. So it's not just going to be Jeopardy; it's going to be other live shows, and we're potentially thinking about doing a live show every 2 weeks and switching it up. It'll be different things, but trying to incorporate one way or another a Q&A so you can actually interact with our guests that we have on during each live. So be on the lookout for that. And the only way to be on the lookout for that is to actually follow us on social media. So thank you everyone who has followed us. And also on that same note, we have a Facebook group, Sacramento Soccer Fans. Please check it out. Feel free to join. We have some former Republic players that are also on that group. So hey, your posts are being seen by just everyone in general in that soccer community in the area and beyond that. I've seen people from other areas also start to join in. So feel free to join. It's open to any soccer fan out there as well. All right. Well, again, with that being said, Sharon, I'll let you introduce our special guest tonight.
Yes. Well, today we have with us the 2017 Big West All Freshman team and the 2017 Big West Conference First Team, 2019 All Big West Conference First Team, and also earned Big West Conference Defensive Player of the Week, recently drafted for Minnesota United, MLS. We have Nabi Kibunguchy. Welcome to the show, Nabi.
Thank you. I appreciate it. Thank you guys for having me on this show. It's much appreciated.
Yeah, of course. We appreciate you taking time out of your schedule. I'm sure it's crazy. Your phone's probably blowing up. You are the talk of the town right now, my friend, king of the castle. So first off, we've got to start. Where did your love for the game come from? What got you into soccer?
Just at a young age, my dad got me into playing soccer. I'd say I started at age 5. He played soccer when he was younger, so he got me into it right away when I could play on the team. And just from there, I just loved it and just kept playing.
That's awesome. I mean, we always hear stories of different players. Some players, they were playing like baseball, basketball, and soccer was just like one more sport that they just played, and like whenever their sport wasn't in season, and so it's always great to hear those stories too of players who actually played since they were young, and so really great to hear that. Uh, so recently, again, as we mentioned before, you were the talk of the town. You're still the talk of the town because you were in the MLS draft. And I saw the video your friend produced. Amazing video. I don't know if you have it available somewhere public or if it's only on your Facebook profile. But if people haven't seen it, if there is a way for people to see it, they need to see it. It's just really awesome to see what went on that day and just to see your reactions to all that. Um, but to those of people who didn't actually see it, or even those of us who actually did see it, can you tell us a little bit more about like what it felt like on that day? Maybe describe us since the day began to when you had the announcement and to being live right on draft day and talking to people and being seen by thousands of people throughout the country.
Yeah, it was just a crazy day. I woke up probably like 6 a.m. I was just feeling anxious from the start and just like nervous to finally, because this is a moment I've been like dreaming about since I was just a little kid. So I was just really nervous and anxious. So leading up to it, I just was by myself. I went for a nice walk around the neighborhood just to take things in because I knew like a few hours later, like my life would change like forever, sort of thing. So I was just taking it all in. I was lucky to have my mom there and my uncle and just a few close friends who've been by my side throughout this whole journey. So that was nice. And just leading up to it, when the draft show started, I was just that's when the nerves really kicked in. Just hearing the names getting called off, it was just wild. And when I was picked, I was like, wow, like this is the moment. And I had no idea I was going to Minnesota. Like they weren't one of the teams I talked to beforehand or anything. So it was just a surprise to me as well. But when I heard my name, I just felt like very relieved and I was just excited after that moment, knowing all my hard work really paid off.
So I have a question actually on that because I know for those who haven't seen the video, after you get selected, one of your friends actually brings you like a Minnesota hat and a scarf. Did you guys just have like all the MLS teams there, or did you have like maybe a select couple that you guys thought might be it, or how did that come about?
So the MLS sent us all the hats and scarves of all the teams a few days prior. So I had them all laid out in the back. So they were all ready to go whenever my name was picked. So I was just prepared.
Oh wow, that's got to be an awesome
Yeah,
collection to have all all that too. That's cool.
yeah, yeah.
So, dude, you were drafted. It was in the teens, literally. I mean, it didn't even get to number 20. You were drafted in the mid-teens, the very first round, and that's not a joke. I mean, that's like so cool. And then Loon's coach Adrian Heath even called you a top 10 overall talent in this year's draft. Like there are expectations on you from Minnesota when you're drafted that high, and the coach gives you that kind of backing. I mean, like how do you handle that kind of pressure? But I mean, you're so cool to begin with, but still, how do you do that?
Oh yeah, I felt it, especially right away when I got picked because they even traded up to get me at 18. So it was just like it's someone they want, myself. So I'm just looking forward to contribute how I can, And I just know that all my hard work will pay off, and I'm ready for this moment going forward.
That's a very professional response there, man. I'd be a nervous wreck. I'd be like, oh my gosh, they traded up for me. This is wild. They really want me.
Dude,
but that's great, man.
And right, he's gonna
Yeah.
have, you're gonna be like totally getting hammered with interviews. I don't know, how many interviews have you had so far? I know, they talked about you on all the major news networks locally, but I mean, like, this is now the beginning of a lot of stuff like this. Tell us a little bit about that. Sorry, Michael.
Oh, you're good.
Yeah, I've had like maybe 3 or 4 other interviews so far. Like most of them with like Minnesota media and their podcast over there. But it's been nice, like to see all this like praise and everyone wants to talk to me all of a sudden. But it's just nice, like seeing all my pretty much like hard work over the years really like come to fruition. So it's just nice overall.
Yeah, that's awesome, man. It's got to be great to have all that pay off in the end. Now you're going to Minnesota. They're not a bad team. They've come a long way. As a defensive player, you're going to play with the likes of Ike Opara. What are you looking forward to? What does it mean to you to be playing against somebody like that? You're gonna take tips from the man. What are you looking forward to in Minnesota?
Just from the start, I just want to learn from all the greats like Opara. I've always followed him in the past, and he's just such a great player and person. So I just look forward to just learning from all these vets at Minnesota, because there's a lot of veterans there, and I definitely was going to learn, especially from the first day on.
Yeah, that's awesome. Yeah, I mean that team's definitely been on the uphill. They've had much better squads, like ever since they were founded, and it's definitely one of those strong teams that is always making a push for that MLS Cup final. So hopefully you guys make it, so we could see you there in the final next season. So we know you went to a prestigious school, right? Like UC Davis, and we've interviewed other players in the past, and there's been some that like yes, they played for their college soccer team, but they haven't really seen any like any future beyond that, right? Beyond just I'm just going to play soccer in college, get my degree, and then I'm actually just going to go straight to my career. So was professional soccer always the end goal for you, or did it just kind of just work out that it happened to be a goal for you?
Yeah, definitely professional soccer has always been something I was striving to achieve and go towards. But I knew first, like education first for me, my family is really big. So attending such a prestigious university like UC Davis, it was just it's a great balance between academics and athletics, because we were such a good team, especially last few years. Was able to win the Big West Championship for the first time in history back in 2019. So that's pretty big for the college and for the team. And just, I got my degree literally like 4 weeks ago. So it was nice to literally back to back get my degree and get drafted. So it's like the best of both worlds. So I'm just ready basically to enter the pro ranks and got my degree. So nothing better than that.
Nice. Yeah, congratulations. I know the feeling when you get it and it's like finally all those all-nighters paid off and no more having to like take a test tomorrow.
Goodness, save some accomplishments for the rest of us, Nabi.
Hey, we're
Okay,
gonna come back. We're gonna come back and talk a little bit more about your college career, but we're gonna go flashback at this point, dude.
All right.
We're gonna take you back to your younger days of playing in the Republic Academy, and just you're going to high school, you're playing in the Republic Academy. What was that whole experience like? I mean, because that was brand new. The academy was brand new when you were in it, right? And so you had, the coaching staff was being built up at that point in time. We had a transition in the first team coaches from Preki to Paul Buckle. And Paul Buckle was actually very hands-on with the academy when you were going through, when he was here. And so tell us a little bit about that whole academy experience, because you could have played club, but you chose academy, you know, so share, talk to us.
Yeah, it was just a hard choice. First of all, leaving my club team to play for Sac Republic Academy, but I knew at the end of the day, like I wouldn't get a chance like that ever, especially being the first year. Like being the first year to be on the team like that, like you got to take that opportunity. So going into it, I was just excited. It's like new teammates, new coaches, this new environment. I knew it was gonna be a great environment, like a professional environment. So that's what I needed going forward. And it was just a fun environment. I learned a lot from my coaches at the time, Ben Zemer and Simon Elliott. Um, like they're phenomenal coaches that I really learned a lot about the game from them. And from this experience of playing academy, I was able to represent the U.S. So it was just great to be exposed game in, game out, especially with like national team scouts and everything. So it all worked out for me, and it was a great year. I wish the academy existed like 5 years before that. That would have been amazing, but I just loved it from start to finish. Yeah.
So just real quick, you know, being a defender, that's kind of a brainy, it's not it is a bit of a brawn position, but it's kind of a brainy, a very thoughtful position. And your coaches were also very thoughtful. I mean, they spent a lot of time thinking things through and teaching that thought process to you. Say a little bit, you mentioned Ben Zemer and Simon Elliott. They're incredible, I would hate to say soccer nerds, but they're like big time students of the game. Did that kind of like rub off on you as well? Because you're kind of a brainy guy.
Yeah. Yeah, they're like big time students of the game. Like film, film, film. They emphasize watching film. We always watch film before practices, just on our positions, like tactically, and just what to do in certain positions. That helped me like immensely because I didn't really have that. Like before that, I wasn't really watching a game like that in terms of like seeing certain things. So it was great to see their perspective on the game. They spent years and years around it, so it was great in that aspect, and it just grew my game that much higher. So it was great.
That's awesome. So, kind of random, going a little offbeat here. It just popped into my head. Have you talked to any of the players in Minnesota? Like, have they given you any tips or tricks? I'm thinking weather-wise, man. Like, have you ever played a game in the snow? Are you ready for it? I know I've lived in Sacramento my whole life. I have no idea how to kick a ball in the snow. My touch
Orange
isn't.
ball, right? Orange ball.
Yeah,
Have you bought your
yeah.
long sleeves? Are we wearing gloves? Are we playing without gloves?
I'm definitely gonna get gloves. My best friend actually got me like a winter jacket today, so I'm like pumped to use that. I don't have any jackets. I'm like a California kid, so going into that environment, but I'll adapt and everything. But yeah, we'll see how cold it actually is. Oh,
It, from everything I've read, it's a hockey town. It gets pretty cold out there. Good luck with that, my friend. Earmuffs. But yeah, getting back to things. Yeah, you studied managerial economics. You told us you graduated. Congratulations. That's awesome, Davis. Very prestigious school. What is the
mhm.
plan after soccer? Do you have some sort of idea? I know you've got years and years and years and years. But what are you thinking?
I want to try maybe get into real estate. I don't know what exactly. Probably commercial side of things. I also down the line I want to like own like my own like performance like training center, especially geared towards like underserved youth. Um, and just it's not only like soccer, but like teach them like mental side of things and stuff like that. Also, my dad has a few businesses in Kenya, and I'm looking to take over them when he like retires. So I'll be pretty busy. I feel after my soccer career, so it'll be nice all around.
That's awesome. Keeping busy after a career is always good because you hear a lot of players that they never got their degree and now they're like, I gotta go back to school or I guess force myself to be a coach and not everyone's handed to be a coach, sadly. um,
Yeah.
so I want to actually go back to school. I know here we kind of went more towards the future, but let's go back to school. How were you able to balance, having to do all your like homework, studying for tests and all that, and then also playing soccer? Like I was just a full-time college student and I had work, and I could imagine that like being an athlete, it's almost like having a full-time job and like going to school full-time. So how were you able to balance both things out?
First of all, it wasn't easy at all, especially the first few quarters at Davis. It was tough just balancing that because I never been in that type of like environment with school and soccer being that important at that time. But after that, I really just learned like to manage my time. Like literally, like had a Google Calendar, set times to study, do homework, and practice and class. Like I really had it all planned out. So that was important for me going forward and really kept me on track in terms of class and school and class and soccer and just keeping it all balanced. But yeah, it's tough. It's definitely like it's tough, especially at a school like Davis, like top tier academics. Like you got to be on your A game at all times. But I got through it. It's just also there's just lots of resources available for like athletes at Davis, so I just took advantage of that. Um, yeah, so but I survived and managed, obviously.
So, staying on that subject, if you were to say something to 15-year-old Nabi, knowing where you are now, what would you tell 15-year-old Nabi? What would you tell that guy right now? I mean, like, what advice would you give? What would you give him? And then I might have another question.
What would I tell 15-year-old me? Uh, I would say just like stay on track, and don't lose the end goal. Keep your head straight and just stay focused.
I love it. I love it. I love it. So you didn't have a whole lot of extra time. I mean, obviously we're hearing you say, you're either studying, you're playing, you're, in class, you're training, all of that other stuff. But did you actually get any time to follow other soccer teams, like other pro soccer teams in other countries? And if you did, what's your favorite team?
Oh, my favorite teams for sure, Arsenal. Been an Arsenal fan since I was like 5 years old. My dad's an Arsenal fan, so he like put me on right away to them. So I've always been an Arsenal fan since then. Yeah.
I think I
We won't
just saw
hold that
Michael.
against
Yeah,
Yeah.
Michael was
I won't
lament.
hold that against you. It's all right. That's the lesser of the evils in London. I can live with that.
So Nabi, do you remember Wilson Nishaw?
Yeah, I remember him.
He's a huge Arsenal fan, but he apologizes all the time. He says he never watches Sunday soccer anymore. Whenever Arsenal is on, he says he just doesn't watch. He doesn't watch it anymore because right now it's just like it's not the best. We're hoping for you, but yeah.
Yeah, it's rough, but I'm a true fan.
What are some of the teams in MLS that you followed? You said you did follow several, but I'm curious which ones were your favorites. I mean, like, I don't know if you were in Earthquakes or LAFC once they came on the scene, or if you liked some of the other MLS teams.
Before I watched a lot of Earthquakes games, like on TV, because they were the closest team before Sacramento Republic. Also, like recently, I've watched LAFC a lot. They're just very entertaining to watch, so I like watching their games for sure. Especially like Carlos Vela, like doesn't get better than that in the league. So I'd say recently I loved watching LAFC. Then of course Minnesota, of course.
Of course. No, it's funny because this year
Yeah.
I've become almost like a Minnesota fan, especially watching, watching them move through the playoffs. Well, it was last year, watching them go through. It's like, oh my goodness, who is this team?
They were super entertaining.
It's
Yeah.
it's pretty
Came from
cool.
nowhere.
Loving it, I'm loving it. It's interesting because Sacramento Republic had somebody who helped start up that the stadium, that kind of like the box office-y kind of stuff. She used to work for Sacramento Republic, Janine Valentine. So she went to Minnesota for a while, that whole situation there. Now she's off in Miami with David Beckham and his squad. So it's kind of interesting watching other people from Sacramento go to places. And so enjoy your time. Anyhow, I think somebody has a question.
Yeah, and on that topic on Minnesota, I think what makes it even more amazing, not only that, just the fact that they've been growing as a team year by year, but the fact that they don't spend the amount that an LAFC and Inter Miami spends right on players. And I think it's always great to see those teams. And I know Sacramento is going to be one of those teams too. So we're we're always rooting for those teams that don't spend money and still, they still see a payback, right, when it comes to the end of the season too. But on that topic on Minnesota, so when are you making the trip out there, or have you already made the trip out there to meet your teammates, and what's the whole situation in terms of like housing and all that? Like,
So I don't know exactly when I'll be leaving because there's been like bargaining agreement issues with the MLS and the players union. So they gotta like resolve that before the season can actually start. I was supposed to start the 22nd of February, but it might get pushed back a little bit. In terms of like living and stuff, like for preseason, they said I'll be just staying in a hotel and they'll be paying for like everything, like transportation to the facility and stuff. So I'll be set for preseason. Then after that, they just help me find like housing and stuff. So I'll be set. I'm just looking forward to knowing that date I leave. I'm really excited to start. So we'll see.
that's awesome, and that's got to be amazing that they're going to be paying for all that and uh, get you taken care of. And then I'm sure once season comes down, you'll have your own house and all that. That will be said, and hey, you'll get to play against Carlos Vela like you mentioned before, and ooh, it's going to be something else to, I'm sure, to play against just the guy you saw on TV that was doing all these amazing things, and then now you're there on the same pitch as him trying to stop him so LAFC doesn't do anything. Which if you stop him, I think you got LAFC figured out
Yeah.
with those games. But yeah, that's great, man. I hope that here down the road, once you get some more years playing in MLS, you happen to go back to Sacramento, and you have one of those stories where you played for the academy when it was in USL, and here you are now in MLS being our captain defender, right? In a couple of years from now, so that would be such a great like homegrown player story.
Yeah, that'd be great down the line for sure. I would love to come back to Sacramento.
That'd be awesome. We hope you get some good news. I know they just added a 24-hour deadline to the CBA ownership. Pay these players, man. I just give them their
Literally,
money. They're entertaining.
they have the money.
Doing all the COVID stuff. You've got the money. I mean, I'm not one to tell you how to spend your money, but come on, man. I want to watch MLS. I want to see Nabi play.
Yeah.
We got a bunch of new fans from Minnesota hanging out here in the 916. Let us get our jerseys. Let us watch the games, and let's get it going. Kick a ball.
Yes.
Kick an orange ball if you're playing in Minnesota, right?
I'll bring my beanie, my gloves.
Yes.
Oh my goodness. And so Nabi, I'm going to have to find a way if I ever get to the back to the Midwest and Minnesota, and if there's a home game, I'm going to hit you up for some tickets.
Of course, I got you.
This is going to be so wild. This is going to be so wild to watch yet another Sacramento player go on MLS, and just like, because Sacramento, we love whoever goes pro. We love whoever. It doesn't matter if you're a football player. It doesn't matter. We love our talent and we will start. So now it's like, not only do I have to follow the Earthquakes, Tommy Thompson, now I have to follow Minnesota United. I got to watch you play. I got so many people I have to watch. There's not enough time in the day, It's like, but this is so freaking awesome, and we really appreciated you, coming and sitting down with us for an evening and chatting with us and getting us all excited for your career and just sharing your excitement. Do you have any last words you want to share with us or share with the fans? Because there's going to be people watching this podcast, and they just want to hear anything else you have to say to us.
I just want to say thank you again for having me on this podcast. I really appreciate it. It's been nice just sitting down and talking with you all. And I just want to say to the fans out there, thank you for supporting me, and I appreciate all the well wishes. And just keep an eye on me in the future. I'm going to do good things.
We're excited for you, Nabi.
Yeah, Nabi, we want you back. After you start playing, we'll go through your media gal, the person, and we'll get you back on here for another interview, and away we go.
Yeah,
maybe end a season so we can get a whole recap of how it all went down, how your first debut match was. Oh man, I know that's gonna be historic and one of those things that you always remember, right? You're always gonna remember that moment when you got to play in your first game, and yeah, it's gonna be interesting. And I always say the sport is just growing so quick just throughout the nation, but here in Sacramento, especially now that the Republic is coming along, like years from now, I think we're going to see more and more players just from the area, just like you, rise up the ranks, play for Sacramento, play for other teams. But it's just amazing to see how many players are just appearing, and just much more growth after Republic actually gets to join MLS, which hopefully soon, although Michael has been keeping me informed on the stadium updates, and sadly I still just see dirt and I don't see any construction workers around there, and it's making me a bit worried.
So Nabi, one last thing. Really appreciated what you had to say about, reaching back and reaching for the community, and, working on accessibility, making the game more accessible, and, using your brain and your power and your love to, share with others and bring them to the level that you're at. And I really appreciate what you said about, possibly doing something like that. We need more Nabis.
Yes, of course. I love the community.
Well, the community loved you right back. All right. Thank you again.
Thank you.
All right. Yeah, thank you, Nabi, for joining us. And yeah, we'll be talking to you soon, and again, following your career. And hopefully we can get our hands on a Minnesota jersey with your number once you get your number announced.
Sounds good.
Awesome. Well, thank you, and have a good night, and good luck in the season.
Good night, Nabi.
All right, take care.
All right. Well, thank you again to Nabi for joining us tonight. That was a great episode, guys, right? What did you think?
Yeah, I enjoyed it. I like getting his perspective and hearing from him. He's a bit younger than I am, so I like hearing his idea of the game and how it's changed and evolved, and his plan. I loved hearing what he was going to tell 15-year-old Nabi. Just keep on keeping on, essentially. Just don't give up. Look at the end game and go from there.
Yeah, I mean, he was a real delight, and just loved hearing him talk about how he would love to give back to the community. I mean, that's big time. I mean, I know he's a college grad, and your brain is so different, once you've been through schooling, or, you get to the age that he is, but just to have that already have that in his heart, and, looking to help with his dad's business, and it's seeing things beyond, but still enjoying the game. I mean, when we talked to Josh Cohen, Josh, it was almost like a similar path with Josh. I don't know that he really intended to be so in love with the game until he got into the game. And then
Mhm.
it was just like, even though he's an engineer, he's brilliant. And it felt the same, a little bit the same with Nabi. It's kind of like, once you're there and you're in it and you're just like living this dream, there is time to explore the soccer and to explore being a professional athlete, because there will be time down the road to do all these other things. But I have a funny feeling Nabi, with the way that he is, and he's so smart, he's probably going to be able to do all of it anyhow. Don't be surprised if you don't see him endeavoring into some sort of a business on top of playing pro sports and doing everything really well.
Yeah, and you see those things, right, from players in our community, because especially players that came by Republic, and it's really awesome, right, to see that like mentality, that philosophy of like giving back to community just spreading everywhere, right? It's like, hey, let's produce 30 players and let's send them to all the MLS teams out there, and let's have all of them represent our area well, right, with all that. And so I think it's really great to see all that. And we, in the past interview, we actually interviewed a Moby who, true, he wasn't born in Sacramento, but he did actually move at a really young age to Sacramento. And you can also tell, right? I mean, Michael was here in the interview too, and he's really all about giving back to the communities he's a part of, and he's founded some nonprofits, and I see it in him too. And so it's awesome to see all this everywhere.
Yeah, it's really great to hear that they know their roots, they're loyal to their roots, they always want to give back. Sacramento's always had a very strong connection with people, and the soccer scene in Sacramento has always been fairly decent as it's risen in the United States. It's risen right along here in Sacramento, given the hodgepodge community that we have here in Sacramento. It's a real love of the city, the game of football. It's great.
Yeah, and as Sharon has mentioned it before, and we probably mentioned it in the podcast as well, we're trying our best ourselves to grow the sport through our podcast recordings, through now video recordings. So we're actually getting seen by more people on YouTube now as well. So that's really all our mission is here on the podcast. And I'm glad that we're also hoping to contribute to that, which again is going to see a massive explosion of growth in 2023. Fingers crossed. Now, like as I said earlier, 2023. Yeah, I know I've had people ask me, actually, Michael, on that note, what the progress is on the stadium, and so we're gonna try our best to like ask around and see if anyone's willing to at least like let us know, like, hey, yeah, everything is good. Don't worry, guys, because people are starting to question, like, hey, what's going on? It's 2023, and it's almost going to be 2023. It's like less than 2 years, and we would have already thought that we would already see a little bit of progress, even if it's just a piece of wood on the ground and kind of formed to be like something, right? And so Michael keeps me updated, as I mentioned before, and I hope to one day see something, Michael, even if it's just a tractor out there. I don't care, just anything, anything going on right there in that plot of land that we know is huge.
Yeah, they've laid some road work down. They've cleared out. Unfortunately, Sacramento does have a bit of a homeless population. They've cleared out the area once again, so that makes me think that maybe they're getting ready to do something. But as far as I'm aware, they're putting in the stadium as well as a bunch of shopping centers and anchors and things like that. I haven't seen any shovels in the ground yet, but it looks like they've paved out some of the dirt
Mhm.
road, some of the dirt. They've laid the foundation with the roads and things like that, the pavement. I've got faith that they've got it figured out. There are people a lot smarter than me who know what they're doing, have got this figured out, and if they say we're going to be ready by 2023, then I'm going to take them at their word.
Yeah, every time I've posed the question to Ben and others, I actually don't really pose a question. I say, "Are you guys like just doing the plans right? The planning, everything has to be on paper and the design, and that's a huge hurdle. We've talked about this, I think, before, but to have all the drawings and the schematics and everything fitting in, with the current infrastructure and because if you don't have it so well drawn and you have the full on architecture and all the drainage plans and public works involved and everybody signing off on the different permit parts, all of that is what is happening, and it's way behind the scenes. And I'd love to talk to whoever it is that's like negotiating on all of that, to see where they are with that aspect. As dry as that might be, to me, that's kind of the interesting part. It's like, okay, how's the planning going, and what kind of changes have you done in the plans to make something work better? Because if we have one side of the stadium that's like, it's like the open side, it's similar a little bit, right? To isn't one side kind of have like that big breezeway opening? Yeah, I think it is. Is it the northwest part is open, I believe. So, it's like, okay, is that still going to work? What happens if we have winds coming from the northwest? Anyhow, I don't have to worry about that. Somebody else is worrying about that on paper. But interesting that you had mentioned that there's some adjustments going on, Michael, with rearranging some folks that have taken up residence on the property that has actually changed. So I'm hopeful that things are going along well. Yeah.
Yeah,
and
then
fair.
of course, oh yeah, that's definitely another piece of the puzzle there. But the team has, of course, still mentioned. I mean, from what we've heard, and this is just purely based on the season tickets, because recently they did announce pricing on that, and they've been sending emails out to all of us who were previously season ticket members to sign up. You guys may have gotten an email as well, right? And they still mention MLS there and the priority, and I have my deposit in for priority seating too. And so, I would assume that it's still on track, and hopefully, right? That's all we can do. And Michael, luckily, is around that area quite often, so we can can be sure to get updates. Maybe right even before the team even tells us something, we'll at least know. Oh yeah, they pushed they shoveled, I should say, some dirt to this other area. So, and it's looking like, at least foundations being built or something. um, so that should be good news when we find that out. We'll be celebrating here. uh, because I think above all, I think my biggest worry isn't so much on like, oh, are they going to build it? Because I know they can build it. I mean, they've done some amazing stadiums in like less than a year throughout the country, and so that's no biggie, right? It's more one of those things where if you build it, there's probably 100% likelihood that there will be MLS, and if there is an MLS, well, guess what? We get a brand new shiny stadium for USL. So
You
I'd still be happy with that, regardless. Even though MLS would be retracted until who knows when, we'd still get a brand new stadium.
you missed your moment
Unpopular
there,
opinion.
Luis. If you build it, they will come. That's what you were supposed to.
Yeah, I
Yeah.
had
But
that in my mind, but I was like, wait, what was the order?
but yeah, I will let you know, and we'll keep everybody, all the listeners, updated as well. Every day I go on my walk, I head up to the top of this parking structure, and you can see the whole rail yard from there. And take a couple looks. Nothing yet. I see a giant hill. Maybe something's going there. But again, I don't know the schematics. I've never done construction of anything more than a birdhouse. I'll take their word for it.
I'm like, if they need help, I'm sure we can actually gather all Republic fans and we'll all go out, get a shovel, and like just tell us what to do. We'll go out there and let's make sure we get this stadium already good. Oh, Sharon doesn't like that. Hey, of course, paid though. We're not gonna go do it for free. I'm not saying that.
My back.
We need to get paid.
No, my aching back. I'll be sitting on the side. I'll be in the lawn chair, sitting there going, "Hey, does anybody need something?"
You can take pictures so we can show like the progress. Like, hey, here's what we have done so far, and
Yeah.
what else do we need to do? What goes here?
I'll pick up the litter.
Oh yeah. There's a lot of that, especially I'm sure around construction sites.
Anyhow, it was really
awesome.
good having Nabi on. I'm glad we had that today. I'm really, really glad. This has been a lovely podcast, Luis and Michael. Thank you always for organizing. A lot of work goes on behind the scenes, and I appreciate you more than you know.
Oh yeah, and thank you and Michael for joining us here tonight. And I'm gonna speak to Nabi about that video that I referenced to earlier, because and his friend did an amazing job with that video. I was like, I thought it was MLS that brought in like a camera crew to record all that, but it was really well done. And if everyone has the time to check that out, check it out. It's really cool. We're gonna try and see if it's available publicly somewhere. But one last thing I wanted to let everyone know: if you enjoy our podcast, whether you're listening right now to us or actually watching us on YouTube, we all ask just one thing. If you could just do one thing, please let a friend know about us. Share an episode that you really liked and let them know, right? Whether they're soccer fans, maybe they're in the Sacramento area and they don't know too much about soccer, and you're a big soccer fan and you want to get them to like the sport or to know more about the sport that you love. Well, please share a podcast, whether it's our audio side of the podcast or a YouTube video of ours. Please, we really appreciate everyone who has done that. I've heard stories of people who actually do tell their friends and whatnot. And I also have to say, and I should have probably had this open before, we actually now got stickers for the podcast. Michael actually also got some as well. Sharon, I'm going to be giving you some of these later on in the week. I'll be sending you some of these as well. And so we are going to be actually sending these out. Be on the lookout. We're going to have more details on them. But they're pretty cool, decently sized. And the ones Michael got are the same as well. And so really cool stickers. If you want one, check us out on social media and we'll be giving you more details on that as well. But again, we appreciate everyone who has let a friend know about us and helped us grow this podcast. That, you know, we see it in the listenership each episode, and we also see it in the viewership when we do live shows or when we post some of these podcast recordings on YouTube as well. So thank you, everyone. We really appreciate that. Well, with that being said, is there any last words you want to say, Michael? I know Sharon already gave her last words before we close out.
Yeah, just happy that we got Nabi on. That was a great interview, and look forward to further interviews. It's been a blast. I'm really enjoying this. This has been fun.
Awesome. Sounds good. Well, thank you everyone once again for watching or listening to us, and you'll catch us next time here on State of the Republic podcast. See you, everyone.
Good night, everyone.
Good night, everyone. Goodbye. Have a great week.